Hi, this is Randeep Huda.
Hi, this is Richa Chadda.
And you're watching me on
Bollywood Hungama.
Bollywood Hungama. It's always exciting to be able to share your work with people, and this film specifically because the journey of this film started 5 years ago, and now we are finally sharing it with people. The feedback that we've got has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, people are loving the whole look and feel of the promo, and people are loving the characters out there. So it is one of those things that garners attention on its own. You don't have to sell this film. As soon as you see a visual or an audio visual, you get attracted to it, and that's because of the kind of feeling that Prawal Raman and all us, his co-conspirators, have been able to generate while working on the film.
Definitely, it's a really interesting theme. It piques people's curiosity. They would want to watch a film like this. And then there's him looking really interesting, and the whole plot, everything looks very interesting about the film. So the feedback I've gotten is that people were waiting to watch the film.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, I've worked in many films, and many promos have come out. But the kind of "I'm waiting to watch this film" kind of response has been unanimous and has been overwhelming. No, it's not been that long a period of time. We've just finished this post-production. 5 years ago, I mean, when Prawal Raman first came to me with the story and his intention to make a film, there were actually a film with 3 different actors playing different stages of Charles's life. And I said, if you can all combine them all into one actor, then I'll play it. And then he came back with it, and I've known Prawal for a very long time, and our tete-a-tete and whatever, the collaborative effort that has gone into it, I think we were never scared of what people will think about it, because right from the inception of the idea, we knew that we had something special, and they're all parts of the film, whether it's the clothes or the look styling or the music or the visuals, everything it's been very thought out and methodically done. So we were just waiting for the people to see a glimpse of it, and we knew that we had a film that would pique people's curiosity towards it. So we were never scared.
The director, actually, he's really interesting. I saw one of his previous films. He's done films before, but the last film that he did before this one was a small film but interesting, and I thought he could do justice to a theme like this. And I had heard about him doing like lots of research for all the characters, and so it was actually me who made the first move and said, please, could I maybe work with you?
Very dangerous thing for an actress to do in our industry.
Really? Basically, he has many women in his life in the film, which makes me very insecure. But
I think he loves you really special.
Okay, that's him. That's Charles talking. So basically, she's a girl who sees him fight his own case, and she's going to become a lawyer, and she gets very impressed by it. So she finds a way to meet him, and falls in love, and really hopelessly in love, so much so that it's really self-destructive love, actually.
About having sex with him?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
No, in our industry we have this nomenclature: bold, D-glam, side hero. I'm just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg a little bit. The thing is, this character is so seductive that you had to have somebody express that vocally. Of course, it's nice to say sexy, blah blah blah, but here is a female character saying, I would love to sleep with him. That's all I think about. And that's why it's retained in the film, because it really truly brings out the kind of seductive sort of Don Juan kind of power he had over women sexually, purely in a sensual kind of way. That's a different kind of power. I think that's something that all men would like to have. The fact that he was cast for it and everybody says that he's perfect for the part says a lot about whether he has it or not. And secondly, all the women that I know are always asking me about when I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. Okay, forget that. How's Randeep? So that's.
I want to meet these women.
Okay.
See, I heard about Charles Sobhraj as a kid, and I had heard how dangerous he was and how dapper he was, and Charles Sobhraj सांप जैसा होता है, that I heard all that, and I heard that, and I remember I must have been about 10 years old or something, and I do have a memory of talk about कि तिहाड़ जेल से ये आदमी भाग गया. And then when Prabal got the script is not about Charles Sobhraj and his life. The script is about the jailbreak that happened in 1986, where a man who walked out of the most maximum security prison in India called Tihar Jail, walking over 175 people lying on the ground, and opened the gate and walked out of there, waved to the guard and said bye. So that's what fascinated me. What kind of a man would be able to do that? So all those things, and of course it's a narrative which sets up what's happened, and then it goes into how it happened, then into why it happened, and it's that structure of the screenplay which is really fascinating and unusual, and I'm sure it'll hook people on. I think he adapts himself to the person he's in front of. We wanted to go meet him long time back, and Amod Kant, on whose life and whose charge sheet we've actually made this movie, he's given us the rights. He said, I expressed a desire to go meet him, and he said, please don't, because you'll come back doing what he'd want you to do, not you. So that's the kind of a man he was. Apart from that, there are many stories about him. The funny point was, in our research, we found that all kinds of different people had all kinds of different stories about him, and they were absolutely conflicting. So how do you zero in on a person like that? So it was very thing, some people. I mean, I met a waiter, an older guy, and he said, "Oh, you're making a movie on Charles." He says, "I've got the rights to make Charles's movie." He showed us a chit. I give you the rights to make a movie on my life signed by Charles. So what are you talking about, man? He must have swindled him out of some money or something. But that's the kind of man. I mean, I think he himself doesn't know, what he is right now, because I think it is an identity crisis which he had, and he was not one of those compulsive, killers, serial, and none of his crimes have ever been proven. Even when he was in India, he was not he was not serving sentence. He was a state prisoner because the state didn't know what to do with him. He got acquitted in his murder trial, and then he had no passport. So where do we send him? He's not Indian. So France had disowned him. So that kind of a person who then finally went back to France. It was a big deal, by the way. That marine case happened now, the Italian Marines. Similarly, a French ship had come into our waters and were fishing, in their big trawlers, and it's not allowed because our fishermen are not mechanized. So it was a rule in the Indian waters. So they caught these French people, and they put them in for treason or some big bloody like a tada wada laga diya unpe. Then Indian government did a deal with the France government that we will give you these people back if you take Charles Sobhraj from us. So Charles Sobhraj left India on that pretext, and France then gave him a passport. Otherwise he couldn't land there, and he landed in Paris with a brown paper bag over his head, because he'd already sold that image of him landing in Paris to Life magazine. So that kind of a person. I mean, he does things, makes stories, and he sells them, and I think he's very good at it. I admire him.
I mean, first of all, it's like series of different kinds of crime, but what I find more interesting about this character versus other serial killers or those things that you read about is that how much of control he could take over another person's, a completely rational, logical person could be controlled by this guy. you know, and which you see in the film. They're completely intelligent, coherent people who are just going to be enslaved in a certain way by him, and he's so manipulative, you know, that I find very interesting.
I don't think so. It's a role, you have to follow a script most of all. Yes, it could be by somebody real life, and I have done few of those. But no, at the end of the day, it's how truthful you are to the script which will make the character come alive, not playing the real guy or real person. Because you have to concise that many years of a lifetime into 2 hours, and you cannot, you have to find ways of doing it. But still, since he's a very contemporary character, the essence, to capture his essence is what it is. I'm much bigger and much taller than him, but there's something about his essence which I was able to tap into, which kind of makes him interesting. So there's no pressure. I mean, what, he's going to call me and say, hey, you didn't do me well.
It's not a documentary, it's a feature film. So
That
that itself takes away a lot of the pleasure, I feel.
I really liked her in Oi Lucky Oi, and then I liked her in Gangs of Wasseypur, of course. The other ones I have been unfortunate to not see. Which are the movies? Masaan also I didn't get to see. I've been traveling and working, and I didn't get to see that film. So these are the 2 pieces of work I have seen of hers, and of course I have seen Charles. And yeah, I think she's a fantastic actor, and I really enjoyed my little hot scenes with her.
Like pretty much all the films that Randeep has ever played in, for him, he's always been good. Whether it's D or whether it's saying mere paas daring hai or whatever it is, I've been a fan of his for a while, and I think he's also had the good fortune of working with some really good filmmakers, and I like how he slips into, from being the Jat in Highway to being this suave Frenchman with like almost like a multiple personality disorder. He can almost do everything, which to me is so interesting. There's a bit of him in everything he does, and there's also not. No, you guys, you have a chronology in your head, but this film I did right after Fukre when Masaan was just a script. It hadn't gotten made. So how films come out and how at the time at which they release is their own destiny. Actors unfortunately can't control that. So for you it seems like now she's doing a hot part or whatever, but in my head I'm just doing a part. God knows when it will come out.
See, I enjoy my work, man. I enjoy my work, and there is a career is, I've always felt that an actor, the career, it's also the films that choose you. It's not just you choosing the films. I'll be very pompous to say कि मैं अपना choice करके मैं यही काम करूँगा वो करूँगा, नहीं यार, कई बार ऐसी situation आती है कि यही available है, यही करना है, तो it's how you do it, it's how you interpret it, and how you keep your own work interesting for yourself. That's the only thing. And in turn, if it is interesting to the audience, then that's really great. So over a period of time, there is somewhere your interest and their interest, when it matches, that makes you a star. But then again, I don't want to play Raj or other characters again and again. I am actually involved in everything in a little way through the director. It's like I think I work best in collaboration. If you define too many things and who is the director, mere se idea aana chahiye and all that, those kind of people I don't like to work with. And so that's why Prawal, I rate him very, very high as an actor. I think he's the best actor, best director I've worked with. Yeah, he became Charles also, by the way. वो भी Charles बन गया था picture करते. So I think that's the joy with it, is that he's the writer and the director, and he's a creator, and he is a person who really puts everything into his vision and takes the best out of everyone. If there's something he likes, he'll immediately like, okay, forget this. No, this was not so good. Like, now let's do that. This is a better idea. Chalo.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, and of course his command over the film, because these unfolding screenplays of thrillers and what happened, why happened, those are very difficult films to make. And his mastery over it is amazing. Like he did in Darna Zaruri Hai, Darna Mana Hai, he had done all the 6 episodes. Then he had done Gayab, which was very interesting. Then 404, which is absolutely a stunner of a mind game film. So those films are very, very hard to make, and I think he's a great master at that, and a great guy, and I've known him for many years, since we were both a part of Ramu's stable long time ago.
I like to write, but I don't know if I have the capability to write something as mammoth as a film, maybe.
It's a lonely job, writer's job.
Yeah, it's very different to write like a blog or something and then come and write the whole screenplay. It so much depends on you. So I don't know if I have the bandwidth for it yet. I don't think about it too much. But I mean, if somebody's open to inputs, I have ideas.
I'm going to try my hand at playback singing.
Oh yeah, that's something that's nice actually. It's a one-time job with lots of shows.
It's the Charles Sobhraj charm, of course, for those who know him. A lot of youngsters don't know of him. I hope they, through our interviews and various media interactions, they get to know him a little, to see how interesting a man he is. The other thing is that it's a whole retro vibe, entertaining film, which is really high on the cool factor. So I think that is, a winning card, especially with the youngsters. It's a cool film, and it's got a vibrancy to it, and it's got a true life thing, that it's a true life incident, and it is very closely made on that. So I think today, in today's world, where our audience is exposed to all these TV shows on Z Cafe and Star World, and watching all these movies translated from Hollywood into Hindi even, like my village people watch it. So I think they have now got to a point where they can and do have the appetite for something different, and we are dishing it out in dollops in this movie. So suave, charming, engaging, entertaining, and thriller on top. I think we have got a big winner on our hand. And of course, apna Charles bhi hai.